Francis Vallat is the president of SOS Mediterranean, and we're lucky enough that he joins us now here in the studio. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
First of all, tell us then a little bit more about what it is that your organisation does.
The EU organization.
Your organisation.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Well, we are we are here only to salvage, rescuing people at sea, preventing them from drowning, and bringing them in a safe place. This is our only and sole purpose. Our only political message afterwards is to tell the politicians to act and to move, which they did not do during 15 years, leading to this sort of crisis and the Italian extreme right and this sort of thing, because the problem was not tackled. But as far as we are concerned, we are only in salvage, in rescuing people with a ship. The name is Aquarius, which is now, unfortunately, I dare not say fortunately, because we did not want that, but very well known all over the world. And we have on board the team from the initial ship owner. We have our teams for the salvors, the SAR people, search and rescue people, and we have an agreement with MSF, Doctors Without Borders, for the having some medical personnel on board.
Now, the Aquarius...
And we have saved about 30,000 people. We have started, our vessel was there initially in February 2016, and we have saved...
Now, there have been, though, really serious problems recently with trying to get the Aquarius ship to be able to dock in ports, particularly in Italy, but also in France as well. It's been declined several times. Do you think, then, the situation is getting worse? What can be done now to try and ensure that the ship is able to safely enter European waters?
Well, first of all, we are in a terrible situation. You know, after this Lampedusa event with these about 400 people which were killed, there was a strong reaction, including and mostly from Italy at that time, which created a big operation called Mare Nostrum, saving 150,000 people the next year. But then the European Union, not officially, but made pressures on Italy to stop it, based on the ground that because there are ships, there are refugees. If there were no ship, there would be no refugees. So Italy had to stop. And what we saw in the next months, in the following months, is that the flows of refugees never stopped, because these people are totally desperate. They are fleeing from hell, but the number of people, of died people, increased. So today, we are in a situation where this extreme right guy, Matteo Salvini, became a Minister of Interior. And he's really absolutely incredible. Not only he's insulting us, lying. There is a lot of what we call désinformation here. I don't know what is the English word for that.
Disinformation.
Disinformation. You know, that I would be having money from the traffic. That we would be taking, going, you know, to take the refugees in Libya. No, we are on the high seas, waiting. They're only always in liaison with the authorities. When people are dying, we respect each and every convention. But he has a terrible war against us. Why? Because after this Mare Nostrum and this disaster, then of course the European Union, and I am coming now to your question, had to do something. So they created forces such as Sophia, Triton, which are there also to save people, but which are not sufficient. So we are there working along them, only because these means are not sufficient. We, the NGOs.
You believe then the EU is not doing enough?
No, EU, first of all, I think, was really guilty not to reply to Italy during all these years, because Italy was a bit alone facing the problem, but, you know, hiding themselves, willing not to look at the problem. And, of course, when you have no policy, no vision, people get anxious, and the extremes are encouraged and this sort of thing. So, yes, indeed, they did not do enough. And what they are doing now, as far as the salvage, rescuing these people, is not enough as well. Now you say it, we have not, the problem that we have, the government today, are not the ones which you mentioned. For instance, we agree totally with the French government. We are not in politics at all, at all. We are left people, right people, all sorts of all kinds, and we are only our Simon, our unity is about rescuing people. But we agree with the French government when they say international law should apply, which means that people have to be rescued and then brought to a safe place as close as possible from the area where they were about to drown. And so the big problem is coming from the closing of the Italian ports. But when we asked to go to Marseille, it was in very specific circumstances because we are losing our flag and we have to work in Marseille and we had refugees on board. But basically Marseille is too far. And today we have rather positive discussions with the government on that issue, and many journalists were very disappointed last week because I was not saying it was a crazy decision from France not to take them in Marseille. No, we preferred have them in Malta. So you see, it's a bit complicated, but I hope I have been clear. But whatever the situation, our main point now is that we have to recover a flag, that you have no vessel, rescue vessels in the area. Even the EU vessels, because they are a bit, in a way, afraid of this Italian guy, they are now far from the area. So nobody is saving these people. You have 90% less people, migrants, than last year, for instance. But last year you had 1 dead out of 42 people. Today it's 1 dead out of 18. So it's a disastrous. You know, I am not preaching anything. I'm just saying, you know, we cannot just swim and fish and be happy in Mediterranean and forget that you have 55,000 bodies there. So what we are doing today, we are doing 2 things. One petition, which was launched 3 days ago. We already have 116,000 signatures. It's all over Europe, and some gatherings in 25 cities in France this weekend and in other cities in Europe, which are meant to insist on 3 points. The first of all, of course, is save the Aquarius. We were the last ship. We cannot, you know, we will lose our identity, I think, as Europeans, if we are so much against our values that we say, let them die, and this will solve our problem.
I hate to interrupt you very quickly. We don't have a lot of time, and I want to very quickly clarify. You are this weekend holding a rally. Tell us a little bit about what you hope to achieve there, just briefly, if you can.
Now, so we ask everybody is welcome, absolutely everybody, with orange clothes, whatever it is, because of the the color of the hull of the Aquarius. And during this gathering, only we shall take, and humanitarian will speak, no politicians. Of course, anybody who has a heart is welcome to come, including members of parties and so on, but they don't come as such. We don't want to be recuperated, is that the right word, from a political point of view. If there is, there will be. There will be statements from politicians. In advance, we say they are not ours. This is not the purpose. And these people, they will come only to show that they want these 3 points, which are very quick, I promise. First one is to save the Aquarius and help us finding a flag, because it cannot be the case that we would be the only vessel in the world respecting all conventions in very good condition not to have a flag, and have, let's say, a stable frame for
I'm going to have to ask you to be quite quick on those last 2 if we can. All right, well, we're going to have to leave it there, I suppose, then. Francis Vallet, though, the president of SOS Mediterranee, thank you very much for your time talking to us there about the Aquarius
Thank you very
ship.
much. And so